"And the ladies, seh, pretty soon," said the Virginian, with a chastened voice. "But I'll worry through the day somehow without yu'. And to night you can turn your wolf loose on me again." Once more it was no use. My face was deep in the pillow, but I made sounds as of a hen who has laid an egg. It broke on the doctor with a total instantaneous smash, quite like an egg. He tried to speak calmly. "This is a disgrace, an infamous disgrace. Never in my life have I—" Words forsook him, and his face grew redder. "Never in my life—" He stopped again, because, at the sight of him being dignified in his red drawers, I was making the noise of a dozen hens. It was suddenly too much for the Virginian. He hastened into his room, and there sank on the floor with his head in his hands. The doctor immediately slammed the door upon him, and this rendered me easily fit for a lunatic asylum. I cried into my pillow, and wondered if the doctor would come and kill me. But he took no notice of me whatever. I could hear the Virginian's convulsions through the door, and also the doctor furiously making his toilet within 3 feet of my head. And I lay quite still with my face the other way, for I was really afraid to look at him. When I heard him walk to the door in his boots, I ventured to peep, and there he was, going out with his bag in his hand. As I still continued to lie, weak and sore, and with a mind that had ceased all operation, the Virginian's door opened. He was clean and dressed and decent, but the devil still sported in his eye. I have never seen a creature more irresistibly handsome. Then my mind worked again. "You've gone and done it," said I. "He's packed his valise. He'll not sleep here." The Virginian looked quickly out of the door. "Why, he's leaving us," he exclaimed. "Driving away right now in his little old buggy." He turned to me, and our eyes met solemnly over this large fact. I thought that I perceived the faintest tincture of dismay in the features of Judge Henry's new, responsible, trusty foreman. This was the first act of his administration. Once again he looked out at the departing missionary. "Well," he vindictively stated, "I certainly ain't going to run after him." And he looked at me again. "Do you suppose the Judge knows?" I inquired. He shook his head. "The window shades is all down still over yondah." He paused. "I don't care," he stated, quite as if he had been 10 years old. Then he grinned guiltily. "I was mighty respectful to him all night." "Oh, yes, respectful, especially when you invited him to turn his wolf loose." The Virginian gave a joyous gulp. He now came and sat down on the edge of my bed. "I spoke awful good English to him most of the time," said he. "I can, you know, when I cinch my attention tight onto it. Yes, I certainly spoke a lot of good English. I didn't understand some of it myself." He was now growing frankly pleased with his exploit. He had builded so much better than he knew. He got up and looked out across the crystal world of light. "The doctor is at 1 Mile Crossing," he said. "He'll get breakfast at the N Lazy Y." Then he returned and sat again on my bed, and began to give me his real heart. "I never set up for being better than others, not even to myself. My thoughts ain't apt to travel around making comparisons, and I shouldn't wonder if my memory took as much notice of the meannesses I have done as of the other actions. But to have to sit like a dumb lamb and let a stranger tell you for an hour that you're a hog and a swine, just after you have acted in a way which them that knows the facts would call pretty near white." "Trampas!" I could not help exclaiming. For there are moments of insight when a guess amounts to knowledge. "Has Scipio told—" "No, not a word. He wouldn't tell me." "Well, yu' see, I arrived home hyeh this evening with several thoughts working and stirring inside me, and not one of them thoughts was what you'd call Christian. I ain't the least little bit ashamed of 'em. I'm a human. But after the Judge—well, you heard him. And so when I went away from that talk and saw how positions was changed " A step outside stopped him short. Nothing more could be read in his face, for there was Trampas himself in the open door. "Good morning," said Trampas, not looking at us. He spoke with the same cool sullenness of yesterday. We returned his greeting. "I believe I'm late in congratulating you on your promotion," said he. The Virginian consulted his watch. "It's only half after 6," he returned. Trampas's sullenness deepened. "Any man is to be congratulated on getting a rise, I expect." This time the Virginian let him have it. "Certainly. And I ain't forgetting how much I owe mine to you." Trampas would have liked to let himself go. "I've not come here for any forgiveness," he sneered. "When did you feel you needed any?" The Virginian was impregnable. Trampas seemed to feel how little he was gaining this way. He came out straight now. "Oh, I haven't any judge behind me, I know. I heard you'd be paying the boys this morning, and I've come for my time." "You're thinking of leaving us?" asked the new foreman. "What's your dissatisfaction?" "Oh, I'm not needing anybody back of me. I'll get along by myself." It was thus he revealed his expectation of being dismissed by his enemy. This would have knocked any meditated generosity out of my heart, but I was not the Virginian. He shifted his legs, leaned back a little, and laughed. "Go back to your job, Trampas, if that's all your complaint. You're right about me being in luck. But maybe there's two of us in luck." It was this that Scipio had preferred me to see with my own eyes. The fight was between man and man no longer. The case could not be one of forgiveness, but the Virginian would not use his official position to crush his subordinate. Trampas departed with something muttered that I did not hear, and the Virginian closed intimate conversation by saying, "You'll be late for breakfast." With that he also took himself away. The ladies were inclined to be scandalized, but not the Judge. When my whole story was done, he brought his fist down on the table, and not lightly this time. "I'd make him lieutenant general if the ranch offered that position," he declared. Miss Molly Wood said nothing at the time. But in the afternoon, by her wish, she went fishing, with the Virginian deputed to escort her. I rode with them for a while. I was not going to continue a third in that party. The Virginian was too becomingly dressed, and I saw Kenilworth peeping out of his pocket. I meant to be fishing by myself when that volume was returned. But Miss Wood talked with skilful openness as we rode. "I've heard all about you and Dr. MacBride," she said. "How could you do it when the Judge places such confidence in you?" He looked pleased. "I reckon," he said, "I couldn't be so good if I wasn't bad onced in a while." "Why, there's a skunk," said I, noticing the pretty little animal trotting in front of us at the edge of the thickets. "Oh, where is it? Don't let me see it!" screamed Molly. And at this deeply feminine remark, the Virginian looked at her with such a smile that, had I been a woman, it would have made me his to do what he pleased with on the spot. Upon the lady, however, it seemed to make less impression. Or rather, I had better say, whatever were her feelings, she very naturally made no display of them, and contrived not to be aware of that expression which had passed over the Virginian's face. It was later that these few words reached me while I was fishing alone. "Have you anything different to tell me yet?" I heard him say. "Yes, I have." She spoke in accents light and well entrenched. "I wish to say that I have never liked any man better than you. But I expect to." He must have drawn small comfort from such an answer as that, but he laughed out indomitably. "Don't you go betting on any such expectation." And then their words ceased to be distinct, and it was only their two voices that I heard wandering among the windings of the stream. End of chapter 21.